Hello, welcome to today's video. Are you ready to create web pages with lightning speed? Imagine being able to build a website like this. Wow, that was fast. And let's not forget a header. Now, how about that? And fully responsive. And did you notice it adapts to my own colors? Instead of coming in with this, it came in with this color. Alright, today I'm going to be talking about Oxymade Design Sets and CSS Framework. I happen to get my hands on this design set, and I'm basically a designer, so I usually feel like I don't need a design set, like I'm gonna do it myself. But when I got my hands on this, I figured this could speed up my workflow. And it's really great that Oxymade has put this amazing design set and CSS framework together. I'm particularly amazed with the CSS framework, and we're gonna go ahead and take a look at it. Let's take a look at the dashboard. Okay, so once you've bought the license, okay, you log in. This is what you're going to see. The dashboard, everything is there. It's really well documented. Everything that you want, all the information is in one place. You have your accounts, details, the profile, the cheat sheet, the helps and docs. You have all the guides, everything you need. And we're going to take a look at these. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is let's install the plugin, and then we're going to take a look at all this other stuff. So what you do is you download the framework from here. Okay, so I've already downloaded mine, and then you go to Oxygen, of course to WordPress rather, and then of course add a new plugin. All right, I'm just going to upload that plugin, the Oxymade, and I'm going to install it. Once it's installed, you activate it. All right, and that is activated. So if you go here, you're going to see Oxymade, and then the next thing is to enter your license key, which you can get here. Okay, and then put it here and click save. Yeah, so I'm going to click on this, activate license, and boom, and that is done. Okay, so the next thing is just as simple as possible. You install the framework. Now what is going to happen is when you are installing the framework, okay, it's going to install the framework with the default Megaset design set style. So so they have two things. You have the framework and then you have the design set. Okay, so the default styles will be that of the mega set design set. So they have a couple of design sets that, you know, we're going to take a look at that later. So let me just install this bit. And one important thing is that please read here, you know, read the instruction, read the installation guide carefully before installing. So if I click here, it's just going to take us to the installation and give you an overview of what this is about. So what it's telling you here is it's just giving you a brief introduction. Okay, the Oxymade is a collection of design sets to speed up your web designing process with Oxygen Builder. So what they have done is they have created a CSS framework called Oxymade CSS Framework. There are a lot of things you need to get up to speed with. Okay, so you have the CSS framework. So the CSS framework is based on the popular CSS framework, Tailwind CSS. Okay, and then the structure. So here's some information on how and where you can find more info about the framework. So you have the grid and responsive utility classes, and that they are stored in the style sheet inside Oxygen. Okay, and most of the utility classes like paddings, margins, width, height, text, etc. Are created as native Oxygen classes, and all these classes are stored in the Oxymade CSS Framework folder. So you have the utility classes stored, okay, in, you know, as selectors, so you could see all of them stored there, you know, in the selectors. And then of course they're also stored in the style sheet inside Oxygen, so you have access to all of them. The design set specific classes like buttons, avatars, headings, icons are stored in the Oxymade framework extras folder. So this has to do with the classes that are related to, specific to the design sets. Okay, so this is different from this. These are the CSS framework, okay, but these are the Oxymade framework, okay, which are specific to each design set. For instance, if you have the mega set design set, you're going to have the classes that are specific to those design set in this folder. When we go into the Oxygen editor, we're going to see that. So let's install the framework and then we'll see how it works. Okay, quick. What happens here is the first thing here you're seeing here is the Oxymade framework. This is the Oxymade framework that comes with the Tailwind, you know, CSS utility classes. Okay, so the next this next column has to do with the base design set. That is now this is what, you know, applies to button. Okay, so we apply buttons, cards, icons, typography styles, and Oxygen settings from the design set you set here. So this is not the regular utility class. This is different. These are design set specific, okay, design set specific styles. So when you bring in a design set, okay, it's going to apply styles from this base design set. So even if you copy a block from another design set, it's going to use the styles from this particular design set. And another thing here is you can manage the colors here. Okay, you can actually go in here and change your colors. These are color variables, okay, that you're going to be using inside the Oxygen editor. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go into the Oxygen editor. All right, so now I'm going to be talking about the, you know, the front end, sorry, the editor, and also the dashboard here, the plugin dashboard. So you see you have your colors here, okay, and you can import or export colors. You can, you know, change the skin by installing the different design sets, okay. Like for instance, if you install this design set, it's going to change all the color variables here are going to change, you know, to reflect the particular design set that you've chosen. Okay, now none of these design sets have been installed yet, and we're going to do that. Now if you take a look at this, you'll see that you have the same color variables, okay, here. Okay, so what you have here is what is showing here. So, and this is different from the Oxygen global colors. So you can see that there is nothing here. Okay, so all right, so for instance, if I have maybe a section here and then I decide to just apply this color, like by copying that color and then putting it here. Okay, so I see that I have that primary color. Now if I save this and then maybe I decide to change my primary color from here, okay, to this, remember to, so I change it to that, okay, and then I update that, okay. All right, so it says that oxygen builder, it should be closed, okay. So let me refresh this so we will see the change take place. All right, so you can see that color has changed, okay. I didn't even need to do anything inside oxygen, so you don't even need to be inside oxygen to change it. So that's the beauty of these CSS variable, you know, colors, okay. So this section, you know, shows the modules that are, you know, enabled. So merge classes plus utility class, lock button in the editor, you know. So this merge class button is useful to merge multiple classes and combine all other properties into one class. So it is useful when you are working with a utility framework like Tailwind based Oxymonster framework. So now the next one is to change the utility classes to ID automatically. So this is disabled. This is a new feature, so I've not really tested this to see how it works. I guess what they're saying here is that if you have an element that has a utility class that is locked, okay, once you select that element, so it's gonna automatically, you know, switch the selector to the ID instead of, you know, selecting that locked class, okay. I think that's what it means. And then of course you have the paste button in the editor, which is enabled. This is the paste button, okay, and then that enables you to paste in, you know, blocks from, you know, from design sets, or, you know, or if you're using the template, you know, the template builder, okay, which we're going to take a look at, you can just copy, you know, and then you could just copy a block and then paste in here, you know, by clicking on here and pasting it here. And then so you have enable/disable hover effect and the panel in the Oxygen editor. So you have 50 beautiful powerful hover effects. So there are a lot of hover effects. So this says you have to select an element. So you have these beautiful hover effects, okay, and these are really useful to apply to a button, okay. So we're going to take a look at that and see how it works. And then now another beautiful thing about the framework is that you can manage your CSS classes and folders. So imagine that you have a folder that you didn't want, okay. You can actually delete folders. You can actually delete classes from uncategorized folders. For instance, if I have my style sheet, so I have uncategorized, I have Oxymade framework, and then so you have the classes, okay, that are there. You can, no, not here, that is mistaken, the selector, okay. So you have these classes from, you know, uncategorized, okay. I think these are from, so these are Oxymade custom selectors. You have these Oxymade framework classes, there are a lot of them. And then you have the hover styles, okay. So what it's saying here is that you can actually delete the ones you do not want to use anymore. If you have changed your mind and you don't want to have these classes here, you can delete them. So that's a very nice purge function. And then you have the style sheets. You can delete any one of the style sheet that you do not want. But I mean, for the purpose of this, you know, plugin, all these are kind of necessary, okay. Another thing is, if you have any issues and then maybe you decide that you don't want to use the Oxymade for this particular project, or perhaps you were testing it out on your install, you can actually revert, you know, Oxygen, the installation, back to before, you know, you installed Oxymade. So reset Oxygen settings back to before using Oxymade. We took a backup before installing Oxymade, and you can go back for whatever reason. So this is amazing. And then this one is to reset to Oxygen default. For instance, if you had installed the Oxymade settings in the, you know, Oxygen settings, you know, for instance, you have you can install global classes, selector, style sheet, global settings, you know, so you can reset it to Oxygen's default. All right, now this shows that the framework is activated, and then this shows everything we have done, and we have not yet added a design set to Oxygen library. So let's just jump right and see how we can add a design set. So I'm just going to click here, and so you have a lot of so this shows you all the design set. Okay, now let's go back. That's not where I'm supposed to click. All right, so I want to go to my dashboard, and then here you're going to see all the design set. Okay, and in order to be able to install the design set, okay, you're going to have to follow the step 2, okay, and you're going to add the domain to this site, to the Oxymade, to your account. So I'm going to go here. Now what it's saying is that you should be, add this domain exactly as shown in the WordPress settings screen. Now for you to be able to add this design set, you must register your domain here. So I'm going to go back here, okay. So you go to settings, general, and then you have to copy this exactly the way it is, okay, and then you go back and then paste it here. And once you paste that, that means that URL has been authorized to use the design set, and then you go back to Oxygen settings and go to library. Now what I want to do is I want to disable the default design set. I don't want that, and I don't want this this WordPress install to be a design set, but I want to enable the third-party design set. And then I'm going to add a design set. So I'm just going to click to add a design set. So it says you should put the site key, and then I'm going all the way here. I'm going to copy this design set, okay, and I'm going to put it right there. All right, so you can see that this Oxymade mega set design set has been added. I'm going to add the next one. I'm going to add the, let me add the boundaries, okay. I want to add like 3. Okay, I have boundaries. I'm going to add the third one. So restaurant, okay, for the restaurants, okay. All right, so all the design set has been added. Now if I go to the Oxygen editor and refresh, all right, so now we are here again. This is refreshed. All right, so if we go to library, okay, design set, so you can see the 3 design set that we installed, are showing up here. So it's kind of different from the Oxygen, design set. So you have pages, you might have 0, but you go into sections and elements, and you have all the sections, so if I remove this, and then let's say I go to the mega set, okay, and then I go to maybe the hero section, and then I choose any of this. So I just want to choose something that has a background, okay, let me choose this. So now notice that when I was here, okay, that was a different color now, but when it came here, it changed to, the color that is defined in my primary color, okay. So you have tons of, design sets, so it doesn't matter where you're picking, the set from, even if you're picking it from a restaurant, okay. So let's say I pick a set from the restaurants, okay. Maybe I like a particular section, okay. Maybe all right, maybe I like a footer from the restaurant, and I bring it in. Now it's gonna come in, and then of course it's gonna come in with the style. So you see it has its class. So even though it was dark in the design set that I imported it, I brought it in from, but the class, respects the base design set that we are using. The BG uses the background color, okay. So it uses the background color, and if you check here, you can see that it uses the background color, okay. So if we change this background color to something different, and it's going to be applied here, so it respects the CSS variable in the base color, in the base design set color. All right, now let me just save this. Now let's go back to the dashboard and see one important thing. Now if you go to manage settings, now you go to your page settings, you see nothing is here. You go to your editor setting, nothing is here. You go to your global settings, no color, okay, nothing. Okay, the font here is based on the base, you know, design set. Okay, the font has been changed. You can see that all the headings have been imputed automatically as you installed, you know, that design set. Okay, as you install the framework, the framework comes with a base design set. Okay, and that automatically installed all the fonts, okay, sizes, the H1 to H6 with all the colors that you're going to be using. It also, the body text, okay, you can see that the CSS variable for the body text paragraph color, you know, is there. The columns, you know, the default column paddings has also been installed. Now, one thing I want you to take note is that they are using the responsive, you know, sizes for all the H1. For instance, if I have, let me just take this off, okay, and just add a section, and then just maybe add a heading. Now, the H1, okay, has already been set. So even if I go to the smallest breakpoint, you can see that it's responsive. All the fonts are responsive. You know, the H2 down to H6, all of them, you know, are responsive. So if I take this down, all of them reduces. The default paddings and margins for the section and the columns, they are all responsive, as you can see here. Okay, they are all responsive, and what they're using here is they are using min max. Okay, and you know, this is sort of does the same thing that Clamp does, but it in a way it's actually better than Clamp because it's you know, it's supported by older browsers. Clamp is not supported by, you know, older browsers. Okay, so but this one is supported, you know, by older browsers. The old Internet Explorer, the old Safari does not support Clamp. So but the min max actually uses, you know, actually does the same thing that Clamp does, but you know, has more support. That means your visitors are less likely to run into trouble, you know, using this. In fact, they're not going to run into any trouble, but they could run into trouble using Clamp. So that is one beautiful thing they have done here. Now let's just take a look at the selectors. Okay, now I'm going to go in here. Now you have the different selectors. You have the Oxymade framework. So this is the main framework for Oxymade utility class that is based on the, you know, Tailwind CSS framework. Okay, so you have everything. You have the, you know, there are a lot of them. Actually, it's kind of, it's not even possible to go through all of these, okay, you know, at once. So you have the hover styles, okay, and then you have the mega set, you know, classes based on whatever, you know, we bring into, you know, the editor. Okay, now so you have these classes. You have the H6, the primary color, the paragraph color, the margin bottom. So the naming conventions are quite easy to remember. For instance, if you go to the cheat sheet, okay, you're gonna see all the naming conventions. So you could just take a look at this. So you have the padding just starts with P, okay, and then the margin starts with M, okay. So you get used to it. So it's quite, you know, at first I thought it was confusing. Then when I just spent a few minutes with it, I thought, okay, this is actually brilliant. So you have the MY, which is the margin on the x-axis, that is left to right, okay. So you have MX auto, then MY auto, that's top and bottom. Then you have margin left, ML, R. So that is how it is. MB, margin bottom. So you have all those different settings. So you could just come in here and then you get used to the way these things are named, okay. There are different types. You have the borders, you have the flex box, you have the grid display, okay, and all this, there's so many of them. So you don't even have to, to buy the, the plugin. You don't have to buy this add-on to be able to come here and take a look at this. You could just come to the website and take a look at this, get familiarized with it if you're planning to get it. Okay, so let's take a look at some things. The first thing I want us to see is how the handle buttons. Okay, so they have 3 button sizes and they have 6 button types. So let's just take a look at it. I'm just going to set up a card. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this with a div, and I'm going to wrap this with another div. So I want to have a div with a div inside. So I will use that to quickly demonstrate something. So we have this heading. Okay, and then I'm just going to drop an image. Okay, and then I'm just gonna drop a text, and then I'm gonna drop a button. All right, and let me just reduce this to 400 pixels. Okay, now I want to have like, say, maybe 3 buttons. Okay, all right. Now the first button, we're going to look at, they have the primary button class. Okay, so you have button primary, so that is how it looks. So once you apply that class, it automatically uses your primary color and automatically adds the hover effect. Okay, and then the second one is you have the button. Now all the button classes are not showing here because this is limited to only 5 previews. So what I usually want to do is, because I may not remember all of it, okay, to type, so I just want all of them to show when I type here. So I'm going to go to settings, editor settings, and change this to 20. Okay, and that will just solve. So you see, you can see all the buttons classes showing up here. So I want to select the secondary button, and then that applies the secondary style based on the secondary color, and automatically adds a hover effect to it. Okay, then I want to select another one. Okay, so I have primary, secondary, and what else? So there are different kinds of button here, and then you have the secondary alternate. Okay, so you have the alternate of the secondary. Okay, and then let me duplicate this and remove that primary, and then the primary alternate also applies the alternate color for the primary button. So you see, this is just great. With a click of a button, these styles are applied to your buttons using your color scheme, using your colors. Okay, so this is great. And then you have different sizes of buttons. So if I type the button class, you have the large, small, okay, and medium. So I'm going to go the button large. Okay, I'm going to go click this one. I'm going to apply the button M, that's medium, and then I'm going to click and choose button Ace, that is the small. So you can see the different sizes applied to those buttons. So that is it about the buttons. Okay, so let's take a look at the next thing. I'm going to take off these buttons. Okay, take this off. Okay, now the next thing I want to take a look at is what is called the space Y classes. Now the space Y classes is what is otherwise known as the out spacing classes. Okay, so what it does is that they can be used to maintain perfect gap between child elements. So I'm going to select these div, and then I'm going to just say space. So you have the different, and all of these are responsive. Okay, all of them uses the min max to calculate the spacing, and they are all responsive. So if I choose this, you can see the spacing between the elements. Now if I go to the small, you see it reduces accordingly. So they are all pretty responsive. So that is the space Y10. The smaller the number, the smaller the spacing. So you have the space Y4. Okay, so I'm going to use 4 for now. And then the next one we're going to look at is the grid class. So let me just apply a background to this. So I'm just going to apply a background class to this div. So you go BG, I want it to be the primary. Okay, yeah, that's the primary background. Okay, and then for this other div, now I want to apply paddings, okay, to it. So you just type P. Okay, So I want to apply 20, it's not actually 20 pixels. All these values uses the min max to calculate the padding. So even if you go down here, you see the paddings reduce accordingly. So the number here just has to do with, you know, how large the paddings are. Okay, so if you don't like the 20, you could use the other one. Then for the child div inside, I'm going to apply a background class. So I want it to be maybe alternate background. So the lighter. Okay, so I didn't select the right thing. So let me just remove that. I'm supposed to select this div. Okay, and just apply the BG alternate. Now, if you're not quite sure which one to apply, you could quickly just, you know, check your alternate color. You know, what you have here as your alternate background, alternate color. Okay, and then you know what to do. And then I want to apply a top and bottom padding to this div. Now I want to apply a top and bottom padding to this. So I want to apply the padding PY. So it means the P of the Y axis, padding on the Y axis. That's up and down. So I'm just going to apply that. Okay. Of course, I could have applied all around, but I just want to demonstrate that. Now I'm going to duplicate this div. Okay. 3 of them. Okay. Now, so we have 3. I want 3. Okay. We have 3 divs inside here. And what I want to do is to, you know, apply now the grid class. So I'm going to apply the grid class to the parent div. Okay, now the grid class is applied. Now how many columns do I want? Okay, so you see grid column 3, so it automatically does that. And then of course the gap. Okay, so I apply that gap 6 there, and it looks good. Okay, so that is what the grid class does. Okay, so that can be used in that way. So it is this is just an overview. It's really cool to see all these things, you know, work the way they do. I mean, particularly like the naming convention. It's really easy to follow. You know, once you just play around with it, you just get a hang of it. So that is just we will be looking at this. You know, I'm gonna spend some time to, you know, look at some of these features in depth, the grid class, the button, the space Y, and also did I mention that the margins and the padding classes, all of them are responsive. You know, all of them use min max. Okay, so they are all responsive. The heading classes are all responsive, and the global settings, you know, that they have here for the header, they are all responsive. So this is really amazing. I really like this, and I really can't imagine, you know, I used to create my own utility classes, but having used this, I can't imagine going back to be creating my own utility classes. Of course, I will still do that. If there's anything missing, I can also create a utility class to add. So yeah, so let's just quickly take a look at the color system. So the design and color system. Now, I'm not going to read all these, you know, you could go to Oxymade and check it out. But what I want to, you know, talk about is now there is a problem, you know, when it comes to, you know, Oxygen and colors. You know, for instance, we have default design sets in Oxygen. So sometimes when you know, bring in a design set into your design, it comes with its own colors, brings in its own colors into your, you know, your workspace. So when you go to your colors and then you open this, you will see all the colors of the design set, all of them brought in, you know, that you really didn't have anything to do. Let me just show you. Okay, for example, this is a different install. Okay, and then I have my primary color set to this color, and if I go into libraries, you know, you're gonna have the different design set. So you have the default Oxygen design set as long as the Oxymade design set. Okay, let's say I want to bring in, you know, something from the Atomic design set. Okay, and then I go maybe for the hero and titles, or let me bring in a section that has, you know, the primary color of that design set, and then I click here and see what happens. Now it comes in with total disregard for whatever color I have, you know, in my settings. Okay, so I have my colors already set up here, total disregards, and then brings in its own color. Now if I am working on my website, I don't care about these colors. I don't want it, I don't need it. I have a brand color, so I don't need this. So why does it bring it in? So this is a problem, you know. So all this, any design set you bring in just comes in with its own colors, okay? And then when you want to pick a color, you have all these loads of colors that you have nothing, you really don't need them. And the colors you've set up here are the ones you needed for your website, and you don't need any of this. Okay, so that's the problem, you know. So now what Oxymade does is this. Now let me just delete that and show you why it is different and why it's the best thing, you know, you could ever use. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the Oxymade class. The Oxymade, still in the same install. Okay, so I'm gonna go to let's see, what's my color? This. So I want to choose the set that does not have the colors, you know, this color. Okay, and let's see. Okay, unfortunately I've not authorized this page to load this particular install, so let's go back to the install I was working on. All right, so now, okay, so I'm gonna bring in a design set, okay, that doesn't have let's go here, a design set that is not using, you know, this color, okay, the color I've set up here as my primary color. Okay, so now you see this design set uses a different primary color. Okay, so this is kind of like light red. Okay, so let me just drop this in and let's see what happens. So when it comes in, you see what happens. Everything changes to my own color. And if you go to the settings, global style color, you don't have all those mess. You don't have all those mess here. You don't have them. Everything is just perfect. I mean, this is it, you know. This is it, I'm telling you. So you see, this is very, very powerful. Everything just blends in. Your fonts blends in. Everything changes to what you want. And if you bring it in, you know, and certain things don't, you know, they don't look the way you want, you could quickly just check the color variables that they're using, okay? And you could look at the color that they're using, like the background placeholder color, and then of course you can go in and check the placeholder color, okay? And then of course it's the same one here. If in your own design you want it to be a different color, you could always go back, you know, to the back end and just make that changes, and it's going to apply. So that's just a quick overview of the color system and how it works. So it uses CSS variables. Now the next thing we're quickly going to go through is the hover effect. Okay, let's say you have maybe something like this and you just want to have a hover effect on top of it. You could just click here, and there are tons of hover effects. You have grow here, and then once I click and apply that effect, boom, it happens like this. You know, it would have taken you quite a while to just set this up in Oxygen. You know, these are the most common hover effects that you would want to use on your website. So for instance, you just want to have a shrink effect on this one, and then you just click and then apply. Oh, then and you have it very fast. You could also apply all these effects to buttons. You can see all these are the kind of things that is going to take you a long time to set up if you want to do it by yourself. But these things are just right here. This is just good. And another quick thing I want to take a look at, I want to be fast here. I don't want to waste time. Let's delete this, and then maybe let me just have my section. Okay, what's up with Oxygen, man? I have my structure panel. Okay, let's add a section. And then okay, so you have what is called the grid helpers. Okay, the grid helpers, let me just show you. So you have, yeah, grid helpers. So they have a couple of grid, you know, that you could just throw in there. They have a lot of grid templates. Okay, this is not like the grid class. Okay, this is like pre-made grids. For instance, I want a grid that is like this. Okay, see, I have them. They just come in. They're already set up. Okay, so you already have a design, and then you needed something like that, and you go in and like they already have what you want. You have this type, you know, where you have 2 here, 1 here, 2 here. So these are called grid helpers. So you have tons of them here. You know, you could just come in and say, okay, I want something like this. Okay, so you could just throw in your designs in here. So these grids are already pre-made grids set up that, you know, can get you up and running fast. And then you have buttons, you know, that you can just throw in, you know, anywhere, double buttons like that. There's just a lot, and we can't just, this is just like an overview video. So with time, I'm gonna just take a look at all this gradually for those who are interested. Okay, so and then of course you're already seeing the live preview area, okay, of this Oxymade, where you have anyway, let me just go from here. Okay, so if you go to the home page, you could go to the live preview. Okay, so this is the live preview for the different design set. For instance, you have let's click on the live preview for the checkout wool, okay, design set. Okay, so it's just a design set for this WooCommerce layout, and then you have all these different designs blocks, okay, different blocks. So for the features, you have all the features lined up here, so you have all of them for this design set. So you could just look at them on different screens, okay. So on small screen, see how it looks. For this one, you can check it out on the small screen, see how it looks. You know, the same here, medium screen, large, extra large, and full. So that is it for, you know, that design set. For this particular design set, this is for the features, and then you can look at the call to action also for that particular design set. Nice, clean, and simple, okay. And then different blocks. And then if you want to take a look at the retro, I really particularly like this retro design set. And if I click on more info here, I can preview that retro. So I can click preview, and then yeah, so if I take a look at the header for the retro, okay, boom, you have them here. These are the different headers. You have these with nice looking headers, simple looking headers, okay. And the good thing is that even if you bring the mega menu into this design set, it's just going to adapt to the color. So that is the headers. I want to check out the menu on the hero section, okay. So this is the menu, okay. So you see nice, good. If you're working on a restaurant, you have this already cut out for you. All you need to do is just pick this thing, drop it, and then everything will just adapt to. You don't even need to bother about changing the font. Like I've mentioned, everything will just adjust, okay. And if these colors come in and they don't match with the, you know, the combination don't match with the way you want, just go into your CSS, your color, the color variables, you know, just change those color variables and they will reflect on the website. You have the hero sections, okay, and all these things are responsive. So there are tons of design sets you could take a look at. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is monster design set. Yeah, so that is it. You have the counters, you have the testimonial. So yeah, so you have all this. You could just pick any one of these and just drop it into your design. These are idea boosters. Like you don't really, even if like there are tons. I mean, you probably may not have been able to come up with something as nice as this if you were to do this yourself. They have lots of options, you know, to present your testimonial. So there are a lot of them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and close out all these, and then when I started this video, you saw me using the page generator. Okay, so you have that, you know, so if you go to a particular design set, okay, so you could see the page generator, which I'm opening here. So this, you know, is what you use in generating the pages, okay. Use this page generator and just drag these sections, you know, drop them, and once you're done, you just copy it, go to Oxygen, and just, you know, paste that. Now I'm not going to do that because I already showed that at the beginning of the video. So these are just amazing. You don't even need, now the thing about this is that you don't need to drop them here. You don't need to drop them in here, okay. You could just go to any of what you like. If you see what you like, you just copy it, okay, and then just come into your you know, come into your, you know, your workspace and just drop it in there. All right, guys, so that is all about you know, the introductory aspects of the Oxymade, and I'm really impressed about, you know, the this framework. Then, and also impressed about the number of updates and things that they provide. Okay, I mean, since I got this, I've received up to 3 updates. Okay, new features were added, so this is really cool. And I'm going to this video is just to go through all the framework features, and so I'm gonna spend some time to do some in-depth review of some of the powerful features that they have, and I'm very impressed with the framework and the level of comfort and feature it offers. So I hope you learned something from that, and if you're interested, I'm just going to drop a link in there so you could just check it out if you think it suits what you want. You could just pick it up, and it's going to make your work easier. All right, have a great day, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. All right, see you some other time. Bye.